Hi. All right, we're both here. And we're live and we're facing the right direction.
Yes, we are, and hopefully this is plugged in.
Right. Well, a low battery will come up if it's not, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Hi. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
So, I'm Kellyanne Matuskiewicz. This is Roger Michael Morello.
Yes. Michael is my middle name. I go by Roger.
Okay. Or Raj.
Whatever. Call me whatever you want.
Actually, this is our first time meeting, but we connected online because I started to do these conversations, these candid conversations around, I don't know, consciousness and personal development, and I saw what he was doing online, and I wanted to connect and share, more of who you are with the world. And this is his first live.
Yes, it is. Clearly, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear.
We'll play it by ear. So why don't you say a little bit about who you are?
Sure. Well, my name is Ryder Morello. I am a real estate investor, so I am not really necessarily from the world of, personal coaching type therapy type thing. As you can see, we're in a construction site. So what I do is I buy up beat down houses, I fix them up, I renovate them, but I also have a big passion for self-improvement, personal growth, as a lot of you have seen from a lot of my posts and from my page and so on and so forth. So we're trying to move more and more in that direction. So.
Yeah, so if you are not already following him, so any of the people that are on my page watching this live, go check out his page. He's been an inspiration for me. I started to do these 1-minute video shorts from that, and it's just like you're really grounded, and you're I don't know. It's like
I try to pick a topic and do 1 minute. It's get the point across, but this is good because it allows people to see a little bit more of me on not in 1 minute, not in 60 seconds,
exactly.
or a post. So it's
and
good.
that's why I was like, all right, we need to connect because you've got more to say. So just a little bit about me is I am how do you put a title? What I do is I work with people who are ready to transcend the human experience or transmute their inner limitations and surrender to the experience their soul is here to have.
Right.
And so and just, follow and be in flow with life, and it's so much easier, right?
Sounds pretty rad.
So, Unstuck kind of fits into that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So what do you want to share about Unstuck?
Well, I mean, in terms of being unstuck, I would like to think that I'm, one of the biggest examples there is of somebody that was stuck for many years in my life, for a long time, up until I was about 32 years old. I was able to start moving in the right direction in my life and make things happen. I never believed for myself. I never thought could happen. And so here we are. Just the fact I'm sitting in this house on my own construction site is definitely not where I thought I'd be when I was hating my job in a suit and a tie, sitting in a cubicle. So,
and you're so much naturally yourself here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just so in tune with who I am at such a deep level. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. It's you take it or leave it. I try to put out as much as possible, just an authentic person, an authentic thought process. Some people, I hope most people like it. I think a lot can relate to it. I think you do the same.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do. I feel like the more that just surrender and show up. I do some of these live videos and I get notes and emails and about how thank you, you've helped me shift my experience, and so
you can't help people if you're not being truthful.
Right.
You're just kind of, if you're full of shit, it just doesn't.
It translates.
Right.
It translates.
And I think people can see that too. So
yeah.
I'm very against it, by the way. I shut that. I can't
bullshit?
deal. I can't deal with it. I have bullshit sensors like you wouldn't believe.
I know, me too.
So
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So you got to this point where you were stuck, right?
Yes.
You were was it just this gradual buildup? Was it like this like moment in time where you were like, all right, I've got to do something different?
Yeah, you know, I've had several moments in my life like that. Actually, there are a few that I can remember. The most recent was 5 years ago. But part of becoming unstuck and where it started was just in the sense of just back in my childhood, how, you know, kind of my adolescence, how I grew up, kind of letting go of a lot of things about what I thought about myself, about what I thought about my life, and mainly what I thought about I was responsible for. I thought I was responsible for certain things that, you know, really just weren't my fault. You know, I was a kid. You know, I was.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you can't. When you grow up and you become a man or a woman, you know, you start to understand the adults that were in your life at certain ages, and you start to be able to look back and kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand who they were, what kind of decisions they made, why they might have acted a certain way towards you, why they didn't act a certain way towards you, and you know, and you agree with it or you don't, you like it or you don't. It is what it is. But
well, I feel like this is the way I see it, right? So we have this opportunity to take a look at what happened in the past, and we can like mull over the story and how it just was like this terrible thing. Or you could take the perspective of everybody comes into our lives for a reason to support us in our growth and expansion, and remembering who we really are at like this really deep level is like we are love, and we forgot along the way. And people come in and out and remind us in sometimes really painful ways.
Yeah.
But we can look at the pain and stay stuck
Everybody
in it.
in your life is there to teach you a lesson, whether it's good or it's bad.
Right.
You know, it doesn't. And there's a lot of people that have taught me lessons. You know, some that were good, some that I like to forget. But you know what? The ones that taught me the lessons that I like to forget are the ones that I thank the most. I salute them like you wouldn't believe. You know, because I'm such a rock solid person now because of the tragedies and the events and the things that have been inflicted on me, and I believe that 100%. I mean, you know, if I could see these people again, I'd give them a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're a little evolved than me, because there's like a few. One, I just want
to.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's, that's a different story.
Yeah.
After I kiss them on the cheek, then I knock
No,
them
it's
out.
true, right? It's like that balance of this human / soul experience that we're having, right?
Yeah, you know, you just understand. You just come to understand, and I think that's where people make a mistake. You know, you have to understand why your life is where it is today and the circumstances that exist. You know, how did you get there, and who contributed to it? And you know, there's a reason for everything. And I think people they act like a victim without ever really trying to find the answers and dig in.
Yeah, and that victim is what keeps you stuck. That victim, that story, that pattern of pulling the past into your current experience is what keeps you stuck.
You can't do that.
No.
So, I mean, and some big things I think that keep people stuck is it starts in your head. It's a belief system.
Yes, mindset.
You know, people kind of laugh at it. They joke about it. They think that it's not real. But the reality is that what you think, your thoughts, manifest in your life. Everything that's happening in your life right now is subconsciously in your mind, and there's a lot of thoughts that are dictating your actions. Okay, your thoughts dictate your beliefs, and your beliefs dictate how you live out your life. So, today I own 25 properties. 4.5 years ago, you know, I owned one property that was underwater, that was worthless. I was tens of thousands of dollars in debt. I mean, I had nothing. I mean, I had a marriage that was breaking up. I hated my job. I was down in the dumps. You know, it probably couldn't have been any worse, you know, at that point. And that was the second time. That was the last time that, you know, life kicked my ass. And I decided that at that point it wasn't going to happen again. I was going to reclaim it, and I was going to reclaim myself. And the person I am today, you know, is the reason why that hurt so much is because at that point 5 years ago, I thought that I had rebuilt myself up to that point. I thought I was making the right moves. You know, I was to backtrack even further. I was a young kid. I was doing drugs. I was lost. I didn't know what was going on. I lived in New Jersey for a little while. I mean, I was just all over the place. I mean, I was.
And you know what I'm hearing you say, and what I say often, is it boils down to a choice. Like, you, at some point, if you're in a situation, you have to boldly and fiercely choose for yourself something different and better. Because it's easy to quit. It's easy to surrender. It's you know, it's actually some of the stories that you tell yourself can actually be addictive on on many levels.
Right.
So you're talking about mindset. So if that like mindset is going on and you're having your experiences based on telling the stories of the past,
right,
it's always going to be.
Right, and a lot of those stories and a lot of those beliefs come from, you know, the people that put them there. I mean, you have to start to try to look for the answers. You have to start to understand why your life is in the gutter, why your life's not where you want it to be, how you need to go about changing it. You need information. There's so many people that make assumptions about their current circumstances and what's possible without even necessarily looking into it. There was a guy, I mean, just a couple days ago, I mean, perfect story, said he wanted to get into real estate. You know, perfect situation might be for him to get a 2-family house, and you know, I started asking him questions about it, and he's, well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Well, this, that, and the other, and it's like, you know, you've got to look up the answers.
Right.
You know, then you know you've got to, because it is possible in this particular circumstance without going into it, but just completely just discount it without even, you know, looking into it and trying to understand how you can make it happen.
Yeah. Right. So it's like there's two sides. So it's like you've got to be the advocate for yourself. Like you've got to be the advocate. When you start to be the advocate for yourself, life starts to respond in that way. So when you choose and when you move forward in the things that you want to do for yourself or have the experiences, life responds. But like you said, with this guy, he let the story of like not knowing the answer to like not even have him move forward with it. And that's where you talk a little bit about like some of these shadows that keep him stuck in that pattern of like, okay, well.
So that was it. He let it go. Yeah. He stays stuck in his environment, and then that's it. And, and you know, I couldn't do it. Well, it wasn't possible.
Well, you know what? Because this journey of becoming unstuck, this journey of like, it does take a little bit of courage.
Right.
You've got to let go of some of the stories that you have around what your life should look like, or, you know, it's possibly going to change. I mean, did yours change? I know mine, when I got this big unstuck moment, dramatic changes. I had to have a lot of courage to like walk away from what I had thought I had built up to. I thought like I had everything. I had the house, the relationship, engagement, car, career. And slowly, well, sometimes I rip a Band-Aid off, but it was a big life change.
Yeah, and sometimes when you
looking totally different.
Sometimes when you don't change it, life will move on you, and you know that's what had happened to me.
Oh yeah.
You know, and sometimes when that happens, you just stay stuck in a mindset. You stay stuck in a feeling sorry for yourself and feeling the victim. But one of the biggest things I think what keeps people stuck also is just so many people are so worried about what other people think about them.
Yeah.
You know, the second I got happy was the second I really just stopped giving a shit what anybody thinks about, you know, what I'm doing, who I am. I am who I am. I stopped trying to fit a mold. And some of the most miserable times of my life when I was playing a part and I was acting out, like, you know, in my corporate days, you got a bunch of people walking around wearing the things they don't want to wear, saying things they don't want to say, pretending they believe in things that they don't really believe in. Because they need to, you know, without even getting into the name, like I used to work for a company where the slogan or the whole thing was being culturally aligned. Listen, if you're culturally aligned, you got a serious problem. You don't want to be culturally aligned anywhere, okay? You need to be an individual. You have to. It's like the post I put on today. You know, step outside of the box, break the rules.
Yeah.
You know, I am not going to try to fit myself into someone else's vision. You know, I'm going to create the vision for my own life, and I'm going to move in that direction, and that's kind of what I chose to do. I was held down quite a bit because I couldn't play a part, and it made me a very miserable person. I couldn't play a part in a marriage. I couldn't play a part in a job or a career. I couldn't play a part with different friends that I had that, you know, really they didn't even know the real me. So you have to be willing, when you do that and you step out, you got to be willing you're going to lose a lot of people.
That doesn't necessarily
happen. A lot of people.
Well, it may or may not happen. So here's the thing, because I believe that I know that we, like you even just said earlier, our life is a manifestation of our subconscious beliefs, or even our conscious beliefs. Mm-hmm. Yes, we will lose people, but it doesn't have to be a rule. But be prepared for it. This is what they talk about, being unattached.
And here's the thing: I don't want people to confuse when I say, like, I'm not this big. Well, you need to just tell everybody to F off, and you should just be alone in a room.
Whoopsie. Right.
And I knew that was going to happen. My phone rang. It might happen again. But I'm not, just tell everyone to F off and just sit in a room by yourself and this, that, and the other. No, it's about having just enough self-awareness and self-respect to be able to be who you are, say what you want to say, do the things that you want to do, move in the direction that you need to move to be the happiest, most fulfilled person that you can be.
Right.
You try to take people along with you. You try to help them understand, but so many people are stuck in a limited mindset, and they can't understand how a person can change or how a person might not have been. And the reality is even if they do, they're so afraid and they're so worried about like what their mom and dad or the resistance that they're going to face with their coworkers or their family or this, that, and the other, that they're not going to step out with you. It's like jumping off a cliff. You're looking down, and you got everyone else looking down at you, and everyone else is afraid. They want, and so you got to leave them up there, and you got to keep going, and you just keep it moving. It's not personal, but it's just the way that it is.
Well, and to go back to what you're saying about like when people do leave, it's from a metaphysical perspective, right? So it's like as you're working on yourself, you're shifting your internal vibration. You're shifting what you are tuned into. And some people do come with you, right? Because they can like resonate with that. But then some people do go away, and that I think is part of the hardest of the human experience is of like letting people go when you know that you have to let them go. But that's like what keeps you in that stuck pattern. And then, but when you open up to what possibilities of like, okay, what is the ideal friendship? What is the ideal romantic partnership? What is the ideal business? What are the ideal clients, right? And then when you get that image, it's then you start to bring that into your
things that are feeding you.
Right. But you have to know that you want that versus looking at what am I letting go of? What am I like holding on to that's keeping me like stuck in this pattern?
But you have to have the courage to explore new things and explore different areas and follow your intuitions and follow your heart and where it's leading you, because too many people are afraid to do that. They accept where they are. They don't want to make waves. They don't want to face the resistance of the people that are closest to them. So it's easier just to stay stuck than to kind of start to wiggle out a little bit. And even when they do wiggle out, and even when they do start to move in a direction, the resistance is fierce. So a lot of those people that might not agree, well, why are you doing that? Well, that's stupid. Well, you should be this way. Well, this, that, and the other. And it does. It unfortunately, in some circumstances, you have to become reclusive. And you have to isolate yourself.
I agree. It's like when you go into isolation in the sense of like, pulling, you got kicked out?
I think so.
All right, get back in there. So I'll keep going. It's like the, right? I don't know, I can't tell. When you go into your own space, you get to become more clear. Is your phone charged?
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't have no idea what happened.
So when you go into the isolation space, it's like almost like you can be recharging your batteries. It's like you've unplugged from all of those spaces that are not feeding you, or there's not this like, what is it, like mutually supportive connection. And it's like people make isolation wrong. They make being on their own or in their own space wrong.
Yeah, it's like this big negative thing to be alone, and it kind of, it's necessary to be alone. And people, they don't get to a point to where they allow themselves to be alone long enough to be able to understand who they are, what their thoughts are, why they think what they think, why they're doing what they're doing. You're always surrounded by people. You're always, that's why they say, if you have, you don't really, the less friends you have, the better off you are. The less drama you have, the less, resistance you're going to have. It's not always a good idea. You don't need a lot of people around you all the time.
No.
That's why they say a lot of successful people keep their circle tight. You've heard that before. They keep their circle small, and there's a reason for that.
Well, and what
mine's just totally screwed up. You
is
just
it?
maybe
you just like close like
share this.
I don't know.
We can just share this on my
sure.
page or something.
Yeah.
I mean.
Okay, so what time? I just wanted to see the time. So, but what you were saying about the isolation is that keeping your circle small.
Right.
Right, and then there's something else I wanted to add to that. Oh, like what's happened for me in my own journey is like I've become my own like best company. Like I have a lot of fun. Like look, I'm here in some construction site,
right,
talking about things that I love to talk about.
But you created those. You create so what?
Because it was a deep connection myself.
Did you
I was
always?
In corporate.
You were in corporate. Okay, so exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you were, and now you're here on a what is it? What's today? Thursday at 12 noon.
Yeah.
And you're not out to lunch with your coworkers, and you're sitting in an environment that you created for yourself because it was you wanted to think different and move in a different direction.
Yeah. And it's fun. And I said to you the other day, is like, when it stops being fun, I'll just stop doing it.
Right.
But right now, I'm enjoying it, and everybody here is enjoying what we're sharing, and so thinking about, what do you think keeps people stuck? So we talk about the stories, we talked about the mindset, we talked about fear holding them, resisting.
I think a big thing that keeps people stuck is finances are a big thing.
Right.
Finances are a big thing. People.
And isn't it story around it though too?
What do you mean a story?
Like.
Well, people develop these lives. Okay, so you build a career, you start to make money. The more you make, the more you spend. You got the cars, you got the house, you got the you got the kids, you got you got all these things, and your life is expensive. Okay, and the more you make, the more you want to spend on the bigger the house gets, the car goes from a Toyota to a Mercedes. Again, people don't want to take a step back to take two steps forward. And sometimes when you want to switch direction in your life, you need to cut back on expenses, and you need to cut back on some of the things that some of the luxuries that you have right now temporarily, to be able to move forward in a new direction. But the thing of it is as long as your finances are tight, you're never going to be able to, you can't go more than 3 weeks working at your job before you lose everything, you're bankrupt, you're missing payments, So it's kind of a concept that's it's one of the biggest things that people say is, look, I can't leave my job, or I can't move in a different direction because I don't have the time, and I need to make money. I have these things that I have to pay for. Right. You've got 168 hours in a week, you've got 24 hours in a day, you work 8 hours, you sleep 8 hours, you have 8 hours left. Mm-hmm. And most people waste those extra 8 hours. They're doing, nothing. Where you could be working on this other thing that you want to be doing to move in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And most people just waste that time. They're either, they're doing shit on the weekends. And here's the thing: if you're not complaining and you're happy with where you're at, but I'm speaking to people that really want to make a change and move in a different direction. Yeah,
right. Those that are listening to this that are feeling maybe I'm stuck. How could I be in my own way? Right. So it's looking at some of the practical things, and then from my perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, and is taking a look at what is my attachment to these things, this stuff, right? So is it an ego? Fulfillment that if I have the car and the house and the whatever, mm-hmm. then I'm a more valuable person? Right. Or is it
again, people care about what people think. So people need to put up a front, and that's what they need to do. Yeah. I own 25 houses. I have 65 apartments, and I rent a small apartment that's less than 500 square feet right now, because I'm blasting all of my money back into my business to grow it, because I've dedicated my entire existence to becoming free. Mm-hmm. And what freedom is for me is it's being unstuck. Freedom is having the ability to have choices where I don't have to be a certain person. I don't have to dress a certain way. I don't have to talk a certain way so people will like me. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, and my whole existence is to move in that direction. Yeah. And I'll sacrifice everything for it. I don't need I don't eat out a lot. I don't do a lot of these things. I've been on vacation for forever.
Well, I think what I'm hearing you say is like what you're doing is what feels good and what matters to you and what's important to you.
Exactly.
Because like,
right.
Yeah, for you.
For me.
For you.
Right. For me. Based on what I'm saying, and I think that's also another aspect of becoming unstuck.
Yeah.
Is more or less just in the sense that what comes out of your mouth, what you say you want. And it should match what's coming out of your mouth, and should match in your actions. Your
actions, right? So, like you were saying about the 8 hours that you have left, what are you doing with those, right? Are you actually taking the action? And that's what I say was like. So going back to is like, all right, is what you're saying matching what you say? Is what you're doing matching what you say you want to be doing and experiencing and feeling? Right? And then even before that, again, it comes down to choice. Because some people will say, oh, I don't have the money or I don't have the time. But you know what? Like, all of that comes when you choose for yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like when you... So, choose. Like, choose what it is that you really want for yourself rather than being the one holding the carrot, like, right out of your own distance. Mm-hmm. You follow what I'm saying? It's like we do it to ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, I think another big thing, is some people just don't know what they don't know. You have to be careful who you're getting your advice from.
Yeah.
The
best is from within. And that's like how I see myself as a representative or a guide to others is like guiding you inside yourself.
Right.
Because I don't know the answers for you, but I know you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like stripping away those walls and those like worried about what other people think or the fears of failing, like stripping all that away and getting to the core.
Yeah, and I think that's important because I think that's why so many people are lost, because they don't really know who they are at their core. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of going on through life and they're just trying to fit in and be who everyone else wants them to be, which is just the epitome of being stuck. You're trapped in your own head. You're trapped in your heart. It's just misery, and I've been there.
And what I would say to support people in getting unstuck in that space is to actually like get clear on what you're afraid of. Like, get clear. Right. If you, like, had some boundaries inside a relationship, if you decided that you were going to walk away from a steady income and follow your dreams.
Which is another big topic, fear. People are afraid.
Right.
Right.
But...
And I think you're right. You have to identify, and
you have to know what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be clear on what you're afraid of.
Right.
Because otherwise it just runs silently in the back of your mind.
And the way I've always done that is just to look at what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst case scenario?
Right.
If you go to take this other job, or if you so the worst thing that can happen is that you'll go bankrupt or something. So just look at that. Really look at that, and try to understand. When you understand what the worst case scenario is prior to going in, and identify exactly what it is that you're afraid of. So when I was leaving my corporate job, I ran the number. I was afraid that, how am I going to pay this bill, and how am I going to pay that bill, and what if I can't pay this, and what if I can't pay that, and what if, that renovation doesn't work out the way I want it to, and I'm this whole thing goes belly up, and then I'm broke, and so on and so forth. I ran the numbers a million times, and it seemed to make sense, and I looked at all the worst case scenarios, and I said, okay, in the worst case scenario, well, I'd be dead. No, I'll still be alive. It's not going to kill me.
Right.
But you also have to bet on yourself to some capacity. You have to bet that you're going to do whatever it takes, and you're going to trust yourself.
Right.
Which is a big thing. So. And
it's like once you choose, right? So you choose, I'm going to do this thing, and then you trust yourself. That is actually when a lot of the stories come up. That's when a lot of the fears come up. That's when it comes to the surface, and that's like you said with your friend yesterday, like. Didn't know the answer, so like ran away. But it's like when all of this is coming up, it's like such a gift because then you get to take a real conscious choice.
Right.
Like, I'm going to let these stories, am I going to let these fears, am I going to let these limitations continue to, no, or am I going to like tap into what it is that I really want and why I want to do this? And you can never. Here's the thing: you can never go wrong. Like, you're not going to make a mistake. Like you, you learn so much from your experiences.
And the knowledge compounds over time. So 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about construction, and in course of 4 years, I didn't even 4 years ago. I only thought there was one way to buy a house. There's so many ways that you can acquire property and buy a house that are so beyond traditional thinking. And you know how I learned and how I figured it out? I Googled it. So when people say to me that, like, I can't do that, I don't know anything about that, I can't do that, it's the most obnoxious statement you can possibly make.
Yeah. Well, because they're not choosing, and there's something behind that choice.
Right.
They don't think they're gonna
exactly.
not gonna succeed.
And that's the thing.
Somebody's gonna think something
different. It's a
differently
subconscious belief that you really don't want to do it. See, for me, there was no, like, I was doing it. That was it. I was going in this direction. I was gonna make it happen. I didn't give a shit what came my way. I was gonna figure it out. I was gonna, it's like, and you've got to have that whatever it takes mentality to become unstuck and move.
Yeah. Because stuff is going to come up.
It is.
It's gonna. But you can handle it.
And I've got kicked in my teeth plenty of times.
Right.
I continue to every day. And here's the thing. Like, I'm not fearless, Like, I mean, I'm afraid of things. I worry. I have sleepless nights. Just in the course of the last couple of days, there's things that have happened that, what if this happens? What the hell am I going to do? But I know that I have a resume now, of things that I've overcome.
Right.
And every single thing that has ever happened to me,
awesome.
That I thought to myself, how the hell am I going to get through this? It's going to be the end of the world.
Right.
Well, look, I'm still sitting here and I'm smiling and I don't give a shit. So,
well, and we forget that, right? So when this next challenge comes up, we forget like we were able to handle it, and the resume. I love that.
Right.
Like, you've got this resume of the things that you've moved through.
Right.
And I believe that if it's like there for you, you can handle it, and it's like really something calling deep within yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, really, I mean,
it's got to be a deep-rooted desire, and I think it's real important what you said before. The subconscious people, they don't really want to do it. So a lot of times I look serious, right? And it's not so much serious where it's that like
today you were looking serious, or like
just
in your post?
In my post and everything.
Okay.
People think that like and the thing of it is that I'm and anybody that knows me really well, I am one of the most driven human beings on the planet. I mean, it's not so much serious where it's passion. Like, I face things on a daily basis that, like, if I didn't have that drive within me personally to drive myself to go and get that, it would fail, it'd be done. Everything would crash and burn, And I've got to show up every single day, and I've got to make it happen. And, because, I run a real estate business. It's not, I mean, people see me on my post, but if I wasn't 100% in belief and have the desire to come at that every single day like I do, it would crash and burn, and at one point I almost lost it. The worst did almost happen to me, and I was up at 3:30 a.m. every day, and I worked to 7 at night, and I did that for months to turn my situation around. And sometimes in life, duty calls. You've got to step up to the plate, and you've got to do what's necessary.
Because what's the saying, like? Well, I'm just gonna say this: the universe rewards action, right? It's like you can't want something. You can't I say in my work, I can't want I can see possibilities and potentials for everybody, but I can't want it more for someone else.
You have to go at something you have to go at something without limiting yourself with disbelief and limiting thoughts.
Right.
And when you do that, things will work out for yourself. People will come out of the woodwork. They'll see that they will want to help you.
Right.
Like I put out a video today, like you can't expect people to invest in you and want to help you if you don't have any true investment there. People don't see that you're really doing everything you can to try to change your life. But it's so. I mean, in terms of you said you left corporate how long ago?
That was 10 years ago.
10 years.
10 years ago. Yeah. Well, and so.
And why did you want to do that?
My story? Well, because where I was is I had the life-changing event where it's like my long-term relationship ended, and we had a house together, an engagement, all this stuff was happening, but I knew there was a deeper reason for it all. So I went into this direction of energy medicine, and I was still working at corporate full time. I was going to school on the weekends. I had opened up a business so that I was seeing clients at night. And so, but for me at the time, I owned the house by myself, and I was doing corporate, doing school, seeing clients, running a business. And I was at this point where it's like, I have to take this leap. Like, this leap has to happen for me to be able to, just be able to fully embrace this business that I'm running and let go of the corporate, right?
At some point, you have to like kind of take a leap.
Yeah.
You got to kind of like.
Well, what was cool.
And walk in faith a little bit, where you're not going to be able to see everything in front of you.
No. Right. And that's the part of this human condition, is the human wants to know what the next step is, make sure it's going to be successful.
And if you can't see that, you don't even want to take the steps. And then you don't even do it.
Right.
It's easier, and that's fear, and that's limiting beliefs.
Yeah. And so what I started to do when I was still in corporate and running my business and finishing school in New York, I would be walking out of the office pretending that it was my last day of work. I would go in the next day and pretend that it was my last day. Mm-hmm. So, and then it was within a month. Then I got a phone call from my boss.
Yeah.
And he was like, your position's been eliminated. So then I got like 7 months of severance.
Yeah.
And then I got...
I guess that's good.
You're doing great. 7 months of severance and a bunch of unemployment, and it really helped me to like fully step into to doing this work. And it's been 10 years, because I've been doing this work for like 15. Right. So I did that for like 5 years. Mm-hmm. Like continuing my education and running my business, and so it's like anything is possible, and the only thing in the way is you and any kind of limitations that are self-imposed or picked up from those around you that aren't courageous enough to do the thing that you're courageous enough to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I walked into my boss's office and said, I tap out people that
you said I tap out?
People that make millions of dollars, they own businesses, they don't work for them.
Really? Did you have anything lined up or anything, or was it like, did you have a property?
I had bought my first. I had made a lot of money in my job. I had made several $100,000 in that year, particularly.
Oh, okay.
So I bought my first 5 properties myself, which got me the experience. I started to get some weight under my belt there like that. Looks like I came back on. Sorry, I went on, then I went off, and next time it'll be better.
I'll have the whole video. I'll get the whole video.
Yeah, we're gonna post the whole video on my page. If you guys missed, I don't even know what got recorded or what didn't.
So I got distracted. So did you have something lined up when you left? Oh, you had the money and the idea and the vision?
That's all I had, and
that's all.
That's all I had, because I wasn't making a ton of money in the business.
But do you know how many people don't have a vision, and that's the thing that keeps them like stuck?
I walked out of there. I had 5 properties that I bought myself with my own income, and I wasn't making. I mean, you're not. People. It's like any business. It takes time to start to make money. To where you can actually start to really support yourself. And I had ran my finances a million times, and I kind of was just able to just walk out, and that was it. And my back was against the wall.
Your people can't see you.
My back was against the wall, and it was scary.
I won't bite you.
It was scary, and I just didn't give a shit about anything. I worked every single day. I didn't go on vacations. I didn't go out. I didn't spend my money on anything. I cut all my expenses as low as I humanly possibly could, and in 3.5 years, now I have 25 properties. I started out with those 5 when I walked out of the job, and my positioning now. I'm 38 years old. I mean, by the time I'm in my mid to late 40s,
you'll be golden. You'll be free. You'll have like all of that freedom that you're working towards now.
And it was because I made a decision to go out and just kind of be different,
and listen to that inner pull. Like allow whatever wasn't aligned with that to dissolve and do the bold.
And that was my aspiration, right? So, whatever your aspiration is.
Exactly. Like whatever your aspiration is. Mm-hmm. Like I was thinking today, I was like, I'm so thankful for those chefs that like make yummy delicious food, you know, that I can go and like enjoy, or you know, thank you for those that well, yeah, except this place in Wallingford, but those that are like really like I think about moms, like moms don't get enough credit, but like if you've chosen to be a mom, like that's, you know, like embrace all of that. If you've chosen to do real estate, construction, art.
I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to, you know, run my own business and run my own, you know, my own thing.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about this on the drive here, is that life is so much easier when you allow what wants to come through you to come through you. And it is our own ego limitation, it's our own personality selfishness that you hold back this thing that's supposed to come through you, whether it be an you know, art or communication or providing housing for people. You know, like if you're worried about what other people are going to think or how you look or if you don't have enough or whatever stories, you're actually like holding yourself back from like supporting the rest of this world.
Well, and that's another thing that keeps people stuck, is they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to potentially fail and look stupid, and people will laugh at them and think that, you know, because when that happens, then the resistance comes, and everyone tells you, why are you doing that? You look stupid. You know, you should have just stayed doing what you were doing, and this and that. And so you have to be willing to fall on your face. You have to be willing to look stupid and understand that knowledge builds over time, and eventually you will get it right. You'll make less and less mistakes, and
I mean, really, isn't that like really what the biggest thing is that, well, not the biggest, there's a lot of big points that we made today, but the fear of the mistake and it's really about what people are going to think about you.
And that was the thing, and that goes back to what we said in the beginning. You have to give up what people think about you. You have to value your own thoughts and your own opinion about yourself more than you value that of others. Because, you know, and it's a lot of what you speak about, you know, when you're really looking internally, you're just never going to be able to live, you know, a genuine, authentic life until you start connecting with who you are. And I think that you have to, you can't be good for anyone else or anything else until you are 100% good with you. You just can't. So you need that self-reflection, alone time, to understand where you are now. And then, you know, you can't understand where you're going to go until you understand where you are now, where you're stuck, why you're stuck. And most people, they don't ever look at what's going on with them. You know, they just kind of, they think that the world's happening to them, and they have no control, and just circumstances are just what they are. And
if you only knew how much you have control over your experience, and it comes even down to the practicality of perspective.
And me, and that's why, like, for me, sometimes that's why it's not so much serious as it's like I am radically passionate about controlling my own, you know, life. I mean, I just
controlling it though. I mean, that feels like for me.
Not so much controlling it, but
I see, like being the master of your mindset, like being the the advocate for yourself,
which will move its way into your life. Again, you know, what you believe shows up in your life, your thoughts, this, that, and the other. But you're always going to be stuck until you think it. You're going to be stuck in a belief, in a thought, in a life. You know, that you have to. So. Well,
and the one point I want to add is that, and we'll probably like wrap up in a little bit, is that yes, we want to know why we're stuck, but we don't like want that to be so much of our focus, because what we put our focus and attention on, we get more of. So if you believe that you're stuck, if you believe, you know, that there's something in your way, you're just going to always continue to create that experience, right? So it's like you're always going to find something you're stuck or something that's in your way. But if you choose and you focus on what it is that you want to experience, what you want to feel, what is in the way will naturally come to the surface. And that's what I say, it's a gift, right? So these things that come to the surface, you gift them, you have a conscious choice to be able to do with them. And then you could keep looking forward, keep focus on what it is that you want to be experiencing. Because then that comes manifest.
Until you change your mind, and you change the way you think, the same experiences are going to keep happening in your life over and over and over and over again.
Right.
You know,
right.
you can
but
change.
That's the patterns, right?
You can change so many things in your life. I mean, you can change your shoes. You know, you can change your hairdo.
Okay.
You know, all these things. But until you change what's going on in your headspace, you're gonna keep living the same way. It's just not gonna change.
Yeah.
Do
this.
So beautiful.
Teamwork.
Yeah, so it all starts in the head. It all starts in the mindset, and you have to have enough courage to be able to think those thoughts that you're pulled to think, regardless of what anyone else feels about them or thinks about them or has to say about them.
Oh yeah, and so Melissa says, like, even, you know, what's better, and really what's better, staying stuck or knowing there's something much better on the other side, right? I mean, there is. It's the fear keeping you in this story is closing off infinite potential possibilities. Like you just said, like, let's take some practical piece about the house. You said you thought there was only one way, right? So take this for all of the examples. One way to make money, one way to attract love, one way to, I don't know, set up a retirement, right? No, there are so many more ways. But if we're like constricted in our belief systems and try and like focus on all the things that could go wrong, you're missing out all of the other things that are
right.
Yeah.
Well, because it's the way it's always been. It's the way I've always thought.
Right.
And a lot of people that, you know, love you and they care about you and they mean well, they could be giving you bad advice. They could be keeping you stuck in somewhere where you don't want to be.
Right. And that's why it's so important to get to your own truth. Your own truth.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to find the answers.
Different.
You know?
Yeah.
You've got to explore different ways of thinking and different ways of doing things. And it requires work. It requires effort. You literally have to take time every single day to work on your head, to put things into your brain every day that causes you. You know, you didn't think a certain way about yourself until someone said that to you, or until, you know, you were born, you didn't know anything. And, you know, now you're an adult, and everything that you think, all your learned behaviors and everything you do and everything you say and every way that you act, everything you think you know, it's all been crammed in there from the day that you were born. So you have to go in there, you've got to, like, dig through it, and you got to start throwing shit out. And you got to start putting, you know, some of the new stuff in there, some fresh stuff in there, and some of the people in your life that, you know, they're looking at you. Hey, you know, you're starting to throw this out, throw that out. You know, they're gonna have issues with it, and you have to be okay with just continuing to stand firm in what you're trying to do and who you're trying to become.
Yes.
And just explain to people, listen, I love you. You have to understand, I'm not happy where I am. I don't want to be living this way. I don't want to be thinking this way. I need you to support me. I need you to back me up on this. These types of conversations. And if somebody just is refusing to do that, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if we can sum it up.
I get on these things, sorry.
Oh, no apologies. Well, I know I try to keep it at like an hour. Because like I said to you, we were a little late.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could keep talking, but like, I feel like we could probably do a sum up and still have a whole conversation.
Yeah.
But like, I'll say a few things. Like, so, unstuck. Choose for yourself what it is that you really want. You know, the feeling is really super potent because whatever experience that you want to be having, it's really the feeling that you want to be experiencing.
But it's got to be deeper than a feeling, because when the feeling goes away, you still have to be doing what you need to be doing to move in that direction. Because the feeling is fleeting. It goes away. Like 1 minute you feel like it, and then 1 minute you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
I see. Yeah, but I'm saying like the end result. So like for you, your thing is freedom. Like my thing is freedom too. Actually, it's like I just freedom.
No. Yeah.
And like I have done things that normal people wouldn't do in order to have that.
Freedom of thought, freedom of character, freedom of you know, just every stronghold that can possibly weigh you down.
Yeah, freedom.
Yeah.
But so that's for us. Like, so it's the feeling of freedom is what it is that keeps us going and have us doing the things that we do.
Right.
Right. So how that happens, how freedom happens, like for you, like for me, the freedom is, it's, we're not necessarily in control of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you can detach from the how of what your experience is going to be to bring you to that feeling that you want to have, right? Then, like, you're even, like, letting go of the how.
Yeah. Just
allows you to live in life of, like, flow and ease.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, to an extent.
I feel like you're like, yeah, I knew it. I felt you.
To an extent, you know, I mean, the how is important, and, you know,
well,
I think
the
that...
practical, but, like, I'm not in charge. You know what I mean? Like,
I think...
in a sense.
I think the way I would sum it up is first you have to identify where you are. What does your life look like right now? What don't you like about it? What things do you want to change? Then you need to look at your environment. Is your environment you know, conducive to you be able to move in the direction that you want to move? Do you have the right support systems around you? If you don't, you're going to have to make some tough... And that's where most people get blocked, done. They just cannot face the resistance of what they're going to face. So you need to take stock of your environment, the people around you. You need to start changing your thoughts and your beliefs. Look at people that are where you want to be, doing what you want to do, and start to listen to them talk, and start to take in their words and their thoughts, and will start to engraft into your head, and it'll start to change your thinking, because right now your thinking might be very fixed, and this is how you start to move in that direction of becoming unstuck. And it's hard. It's a daily struggle. You have to do it constantly, over and over. It's
like shifting the human condition.
And then you have to take massive action.
Right. Right, and I think that's where it's like this.
Even when you don't feel
important
like it.
piece is about the how is important for me to be clear on, is that you're going to get, like, as you're starting to shift your mind, right, you're going to get some insight and inspiration or intuition of what direction to go in.
Right.
And
like when you
it
watch
may
this
not
video.
what you think. It may not be what you think.
Right.
But it's coming from this other place.
Right.
So it's that's the how.
But
it's going to come in ways that you may not necessarily logically.
And you need to go back to it daily, because you'll watch this video, you get all excited, and say, you know what, I'm going to get unstuck. I'm going to change. I'm going to start thinking different, man. I mean, I'm ready. Let's do this. Then tomorrow, you know, your friend Johnny and your mother tell you,
right,
dude, what are you doing?
Right.
And then you start thinking, oh shit, man,
right.
He's right. I should just, you know what, just what the hell am I thinking? Forget about it, you know. And you can't, and that's what happens. And then you just give up the whole thing. And then until, you know, Kelly and I get on the video again, you're like, yeah, you know what, screw my friend Johnny, my mother, they're right, you know. So you can't go through that vicious cycle.
Or you can hire a mentor. Invest in yourself so that you can unfuck your mind.
A mentor online, a mentor like in Kelly, or you know, you have to visit it daily, and you have to work at it daily, and you've got to dig into it daily, because it goes away. It goes away, and you just give it up, and you get into the routine of life.
But it could be you can create a new habit, habit, like you said. You knew what you needed to do, and you woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and you finished work at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and you know what? And every day, I'm like, I have mentors that I listen to, people that feed my brain and feed my thoughts and what I think, and I listen to them every day, every single day. I listen to them, and it goes in my head, and it gives me clarity, and it reminds me, like dude, like you're right, you're doing the right thing. Just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yep.
Until the point, and I've been doing this daily for 5 years, to the point that I'm so convicted by it now that you can't. You just say whatever you want. I know that I know that I know I know. That's it. It's done.
Which could be its own little trouble in itself. But
exactly. So, right.
All right. Well, we're up. I'm gonna wrap it up. What do you say? Yeah. Because we could talk for hours. Maybe we'll do this thing again. If you guys should we do it again?
Kelly will share the video on my page, because I don't really even know what was recorded.
Some of it was.
I might have 2 videos. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on. Thanks for your comments. We'll check back with them later, and if you watch the replay, I'll respond. So thank you for being here and sharing your energy, and here's my friend Roger. See you later.
See ya.